We have a new project, and many of you are going to be pretty excited about this. It's a 1981 CB750. The bike actually doesn't belong to me. It belongs to a very good friend of mine who's been bugging me for a couple of years to build him a bike, and this thing is a basket case. There are so many things wrong with this bike, but it's perfect for me because it's going to be a complete rebuild and it's going to be taking over much of my content until I smash it out. I can't wait to get into it, but there is water in the oil. It's running on 3 cylinders, I think, and the wiring is atrocious, but I have some really big plans for this bike and I'm going to share the entire journey with you. But first up, let's see if we can get this thing started. And unlike the last bike that I've been working on, which is the XJ, this one actually came with a key. It's a Kawasaki key, but nonetheless it's a key and it works. There is a knock in the bottom of the motor, and I knew this when purchasing it, but that doesn't really matter to me because the whole engine's going to be rebuilt anyway. Unlike some of my other bike builds you may have seen me build, they're not really on a timeline to finish. I'm just showing you aspects of the build as I go through it. This one will be getting done as quick as I possibly can and making as many episodes as I can to show you the process on how to build a bike just like this. So just some of the things we'll be working on this bike is a front end conversion from a GSX R600. We're going to be also doing a tank swap, a mono shock in the rear, and possibly a set of spoke rims on it as well. And as I said earlier, we're doing a full engine rebuild, which means the engine needs to come out, and I'll be getting onto that straight away. The more that I'm disassembling this bike, the more questionable parts that I keep finding either missing or just added from God knows what. I'm really curious to see what's inside this motor once we start to take this apart. Some of the original parts on this bike are pretty good, so what I'm going to do is probably sell those and recoup some money to put back into this build. For example, the tank, all of the lights, the gauges, and the whole front end was going to be completely taken off and not used. But for now, what I want to do is strip down a majority of the bike and take the engine out. So something tells me that's not the original axle nut or washers for this bike. So this is probably the craziest thing that I've found on the bike so far. If you can look closely, it's already bent. It's actually threaded rod, also known as all thread. And it was used as the bottom engine bolt that goes all the way through. Also holds on these bash guards at the bottom. But it's meant for household hardware, and so please don't do that. So today is Saturday and my good friend Glenn came to give me a hand to dismantle this engine. He has recently done an engine very similar to this. It's a CB900. Actually, he doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he does have an Instagram. I'll leave that on the screen as well as the description for you to go and check out. He's got some pretty cool content coming out. So far we found some pretty interesting repair work done on one of the cam caps. Not too sure what happened there, but we're going to have to replace that.
That's gasket. That's gasket goo that's from the inside of the motor that's squeezed out and then being long filaments. Yeah, lovely. She wasn't sucking much oil. Oh.
Out of all of the cylinders, definitely the end one is the worst. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to bore this out, maybe do a 1mm oversize, and then just order the 1mm larger pistons as well as piston rings. I'm just going to hit the worst one with my little honing tool and see if it can come up any better than what it is. So that's after probably about a minute of honing, and it feels not as bad as it looks, but I still think it's probably worth giving it a bore. So the crankshaft bearings look pretty worn, especially the center one, as you can see there. So we're going to have to replace all of those as well. I'm also not too sure what's going on here. It looks like one of the bearings may have seized and started to spin, or maybe that's normal. I'm not too sure. All of the chain tensioners will get replaced, as well as probably all of the chains. As you can see here with the crankshaft, all of the bearings on the crankshaft itself are pretty damn tight. There's absolutely no play in any of those, so I'm not too sure what this knock was, but I'm assuming it was this here. So there is a little bit of nastiness in the bottom of the sump. There's a few little metal filings and whatnot. Some of this could have been from when they did the cam cap repair. I'm going to degrease everything and then vapor blast everything and probably paint a few things. I've started vapor blasting this guy here, as you can see. And so everything's going to look amazing when it goes back together. There's a dedicated playlist for this entire build series, but if you're waiting for the next one, go and check this one out.